Hello everyone, we have KSP Contracting episode 34 today, and I'm tempted to say welcome back, but of course it should actually be you guys that's telling me welcome back, because oh my god, was it ever so long that we had some YouTube videos on here. Darn it. Well, the explanation of why and how and what on the world I was thinking not doing that every day will be forthcoming, but first I might have to fix my save game, because here in KSP Contracting we don't want to muck around with funds. Now I did, let's see, change the flag in the persistent.sfs from career to science sandbox, but that doesn't appear to have done it. Maybe it's not possible. Right, let's try and load that again. Because obviously here in the KSP Contracting show we fly ships that you, the viewer, submits, and well, we don't want to be bothered with stupid stuff like money. That will be our limiting factor. This save game was of course generated before the contracting system and patch was indeed gone live. So now in the middle of things here, look at the tracking station, we have 1,000,000 space probes and apparently no money and no contract, so that doesn't really help us in any tangible way. I'm gonna quit the game and see if I can hack this save game together. See you in a few seconds where you can savor more of my sweet voice. Hooray! I think we've done it. At least this is the first second after booting up, and we're not seeing any funding screens at the top here. So that does seem as though it's worked. Wonderful. We are going to launch something. That is definitely something that people that play KSP do, and I'm one of those people, so I'm going to do that. We have the Tarazi Greiselv hype up in orbit, and we are going to, well, send something else up to meet it. We will send the Ryan, and then that can be the Hyperion together, and they will do so at the asteroid station that we built in the distant past. That should still be around. Right, we will not send any crew with this because it's remote controlled. Right, so there's still stuff missing from the world, even though almost everything is researched. Maybe I just need to like click this. Right, so this is a little bit of an appendage, a leftover vestigial parts of the contracting system. I can't just do this for no money, because of course money isn't a thing in this save game. Quick check. I think that's everything. Now we should be able to launch that. I don't know why it's like that for those parts, but the other ones, well, fingers crossed. Here we go to the launch pad. Woo-dee-doo. And first and foremost, even though it's been a while already, I got to apologize a little bit for staying away without saying anything to you all. It just sort of happened. I didn't make a video for a day, then I didn't make a video for a week, and then I didn't make a video for a month, and now we're here. Sorry about that. What happened is that basically I had very little access to my computer because I'm a little bit homeless. The job that I was going to do a while ago didn't really work out, in the sense that they didn't actually offer any money, and it was more like a pyramid scheme and a cult, which I left after 2 days. So that left me, well, not broke yet, I'm still living off some savings. But definitely homeless, and my computer was in a house, and well, blah, long story short, no videos. Now I'm living with my girlfriend, which I'm very grateful for, that she is letting me stay in her wonderful house, although she's in the process of moving herself, so that's a very unstable, or at least not a long-term solution. I'm still very optimistic with that. Some nice interesting things to look forward to in the job market, but it's a bit of a bitch and a pain, and well, you never know what the future is gonna bring, so I will do no promises for future videos. I will promise that they will be there, just not when. For now also I'm on a rather slower internet connection than I'm used to, so no more streaming in the near future. As soon as I get a place of my own with a correspondingly nice paying job, I will buy the biggest internet in the world and stream all day long. But for now, we will have to make do with YouTube videos and in 720p at that, just to, you know, well, be a little bit frugal with the bandwidth that I do have here. So, little update in that way. What we're doing here is just mucking about with spaceships. Where the future of the channel and indeed the shows are going, I haven't quite decided. I do want to keep the contracting thing in because I like it that I don't have to build the spacecraft and you guys come up with crazy stuff, which is good. The real solar system thing, I'm gonna have a few more goes in that save, but the mods and basically all the things that we're using in there are quite antiquated, and I might have to reboot that with some new and interesting mods from the KSP community. I might or might not add in a contracting thing actually, where I will make a list of mods that you would then have to get, which may or may not be a barrier that's too high to actually participate in that series. But I might try that out and, well, start that whole game over again. I haven't quite figured out how to go about that. Might include some content from other games. I'm having a lot of fun with well, various other titles. But let's stick with KSP first. Fix my life second, and then worry about more shows, different videos, and the continuation of this entertainment channel. In the meantime, I think I might sprinkle in a few tutorials or maybe educational videos, perhaps even a take on some news like that new reaction massless Q thruster that's supposedly coming out of the NASA Eagleworks. Very, very interested to see what that will yield. I cannot really believe it, but you know, stranger things have happened in the past. Actually, they haven't, but you know, strange things are not in and of itself impossible. Right, what's next on the agenda? There was more I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah! You amazing viewers, that was it. How could I ever forget that? One thing I had completely not anticipated was the stream of messages you guys send me, like, hey Lorenzo, what's up, seen you, I haven't made any videos in the past time, is everything okay, how are you doing, can we help in any way? I'm not a huge internet celebrity. I've got at this moment like 370 viewers, followers, subscribers, whatever you guys want to call yourselves. Lorenzonites, that's what you are. And well, a non-zero number of you worried about whether or not I was okay. Well, I am okay, I'm perfectly fine actually. But in the case that, well, maybe there would in the case there would have been a sort of emergency, that would have been nice. So thanks for that. I truly hadn't expected or anticipated that. So I haven't replied to all of you because, well, as I said, I haven't really been near my computer a lot, and I hate typing on my phone. But the messages were definitely appreciated, even though everything is fine. So thanks. I like that. I think that's everything on the agenda for today. All the serious business regarding YouTube videos of video game space rockets. This rocket is doing strangely. I'm very happy that we are actually in the stock game because we're not going fast, and I'm very happy that we're not doing aerodynamics mods because we're going fairly unaerodynamic. We are at 750 meters per second, and we're still going slightly up, so things are not terrible. We even ditched enough of the rocket to get a solid 20 frames per second now, where that was about 10 at launch. So we have some time to kill here. What can we do with that? Can do brainstorming about new series, but without the interactivity of a Twitch stream, that's not really that interesting, because basically that's just talking to myself with no interaction. So I'm not going to do that. I mentioned the NASA Eagleworks Q thruster, and in case any of you don't know what I'm talking about, you should first of all hand in your space fan cards, because oh my god, if this thing is real, everything will change. But second of all, I understand you can have busy lives, and maybe you didn't check the internet or the news or the world or anything. What is possibly happening is that the guys at NASA, the Harold, Sonny White, the EagleWorks guys, the guys that are basically getting some money to explore crazy concepts to see if just maybe there could be something to it. These are the same guys that you may have seen publish about the warp field interferometer, the thing they're building to see if they can warp space, which in another 600 or 700 steps could be used to build a warp drive. They've been in the news since, well, since forever really. But what they came up with now is basically a classical mechanics violation. They supposedly built a thruster that produces thrust, hence the name thruster, without using reaction mass, and that's hugely significant if it's true. There's some red flags. I mean, the first thing you're gonna think when anyone drops a claim like that is going to be, oh my god, you're a crackpot, show me. These guys are not crackpots. These guys are not conspiracy theorists. These guys are not that kid from school in your garage that's saying they made a engine that runs on water using gyroscopic magnets. These are not these guys. They did proper tests. I read the paper they put out. It was pretty thorough. They had things like liquid metal contacts, liquid metal connections for the wires, just to make sure that no forces could be transferred accidentally using, oh shit, no forces could be accidentally transferred due to untowards pull on the wires or something like that. I just found out that I launched this thing completely in the wrong direction and a little bit too high. We will combine these facts to make a slightly more efficient plane change maneuver, and we shall hope that the thing has enough fuel to do the move. Anyway, these guys, with their thorough examination of the machine they built, found an anomalous thrust of about 40 micronewtons. Now 40 micronewtons is in all respects a very low amount of thrust. You wouldn't ever feel it on your hand or any part of you if it was pushing on you, but it is a very macroscopic amount of thrust in the sense of sensing apparatus, machines that we built. We can easily measure this. They use a torsion pendulum, which is basically a swing that you bolt the thruster to, and then using lasers you measure how much it deflects. The principle of that is very simple. They used that, and the specific one they used has a resolution of about 1 micronewton. So their effect was definitely within the range of the apparatus they were using. Furthermore, they compensated for many things. They compensated for, they didn't so much compensate for, but they checked for inadvertent wire forces by making the wires liquid, or at least the contact points liquid. And of course a liquid cannot really transfer a push or pull force. Furthermore, they had detailed seismometers set up in and around their labs, and they compensated for any seismic disturbances, and they could measure the waves of the nearby sea that was like 30 or 40 kilometers away. So these guys are not messing about. So I'm fairly confident that they did measure something. But the big question, of course, is what? And I've been calling it the thruster, the machine, the thing they built. You're probably wondering how does it work? And that's the biggest red flag in their research paper. They don't know. They used a design from the internet, from some earlier publications, but might as well have come from the internet. It's basically a metal tube that has a cavity size that will cause microwaves to resonate in it and basically eject a stream of microwaves. Maybe. And somehow that is producing thrust, apparently. And they're not even speculating on how it may work. Nothing beyond, well, maybe the microwaves are interacting with the quantum virtual plasma and producing thrust that way somehow. It really doesn't go any further than that. But they did measure the thrust, so what's going on there is the big question there. And it was a macroscopic thrust, like 40 to 50 micronewtons, using a very, very low amount of power. They used, if I recall correctly, in this experiment 20 watts of it. That's a monumentally low amount of power to use in, well, any propulsion really. And just on electric efficiency, that would basically be an order of magnitude better than the best ion drives we have today. And of course, the specific impulse would be infinite because they're not using any reaction mass. Now there are some more red flags in this experiment. They used they built the test rig in a vacuum chamber. They closed the door. They didn't make the actual vacuum happen though. And this is because they made this rig out of spare parts almost, and some of the parts they used they would explode in a vacuum or just cease to function, or it wouldn't go well. So one would assume that they will repeat this in a proper vacuum with better components, but that hasn't happened yet. Furthermore, they had two versions of their drive that works on Magic. One with slots on the inside and one without these slots. And they expected the one with the slots to work and the one without to not work. And they both worked. They both worked equally well, equally magically. Now you will see on the internet, if you start looking this up, some people calling this out as, oh my god, they're complete frauds. The test article produced thrust as well, and that means that everything is wrong. No, in fact not. The proposed modification to the tube, the grooves, they made no difference, but the apparatus was functional in doing the microwave thing in both respects. They had a proper control where they just had a box basically with the same RF load, which basically is just a big resistor, and they used this test to see if like maybe the electrical activity would cause an interaction between the machine and the vacuum chamber or some other aspect and produce a thrust that way. It did that, and using that control they could compensate for that and subtract that amount of thrust from the measured amount. Turns out that just the electrical activity causes like 3 to 4 micronewtons of apparent thrust, where it's just an attraction to the environment around it, something like that. So they did the experiments fairly neatly, apart from the fact that they don't know what's supposedly happening, and they also don't know how their magic engine is supposed to work. They were fairly diligent in the execution of this, well, let's call it a test of magic. So I'm very, very interested to see how that turns out in the future. If they actually have made a reactionless drive, we can go anywhere. Magic will have happened, and we can build spaceships that are like the ones in Star Trek and just fly somewhere with 1,000 or 10,000 people on board and go live there. That's the end of it. If they made a reactionless drive, it is a trivial matter. Well, it will still be a massive project, but on paper it will be trivial to just ship massive nuclear reactors into orbit. Just plain old fission drives, fission reactors, fission stuff. Bolt it to all the life support you want to bring and just turn it on. If you use a brachistochrone trajectory, that's accelerating all the way there, turning around at the halfway point, and then accelerating all the way back, basically braking, it scarcely matters how much acceleration you have. On the long distances, you're gonna get there super fast. My maneuver node system has broken. I'm going to restart or at least reload the game. It seems slightly more buggy than last time I played this, but oh well. Could be that I'm imagining things. So yeah, if they made that reactionless drive, then we can go to the stars. Probes can go to the stars. We can go to the planets. We can probably levitate our beds. We just need to have more electricity, just the same as today, really. So that would be incredibly exciting. And I would have completely expected the press to jump on that aspect of the thing, but no, what all they're saying, I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but if you have a reactionless drive, you're going everywhere. No, but the press is focusing on the catchphrase. If this new rocket engine that works on electricity catches on, we will have cheaper satellite station keeping. Let that sink in for a minute. Here's a promise. If this reactionless drive works, I'm getting one and I'm building a spaceship. And I'm leaving all those efficient satellite builders way far behind. That's a promise. Right. Let's have a look at setting up this rendezvous. And a quick look at the clock tells me that I won't have the time to do anything meaningful in this episode, rather than say hello, I'm not dead, video service will continue, but not anymore today, I'm afraid. And I'm also terrified, and I'm also not sure where my maneuver node is now. Oh yeah, it's somewhere over there. I will do this burn, this 264 meters per second burn, then I will set the video to edit and upload, which will take long due to the slow internet that I have here. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm happy that I at least have a spot to put my computer and make these videos for y'all. And then hopefully in the near future, it's been far too long already, I hope to land a kick-ass job that will leave me with absolutely no time to make videos, but then occasionally I will make a video and I'll be happy, I'll be rich, and I'll be talking about the meaningful things in life, like reactionless drives, or how they turned out to be a monumental bust, and either the researchers turned out to be frauds after all, or more likely somebody somewhere somehow did screw up the results by plugging in the machine wrong. Something like that. Oh my god, we've got faster than light neutrinos here. That story of a few years ago, remember that? When the researchers, I think it was in France and Italy, they announced they had shot a neutrino burst that had traveled faster than light. Turned out to not be so. But the best part of this, and actually I only learned this fairly recently, like last week, from an Italian guy, is that the Italian Minister of Science, announced in a speech on television that he was very happy that the neutrinos had gone so fast between France and Italy, and he wanted to congratulate the tunnel builders on a job well done. Yes, Italy's Minister of Science wanted to congratulate the neutrino tunnel builders on a job well done, because the neutrinos could travel through that supposedly magic tunnel faster than light. That's just poetry to me. Anyway, that's about a wrap up for this fairly pointless video in KSP terms. I mean, we launched a crazy scaffold and we didn't really do anything with it, but hey, there's some space news that was shared and a assurance that I'm not dead. I'm actually fairly okay and doing well, and I'm looking at bright futures, which will be good for all of us because there will be many videos to come, and an eventual resumption of the streaming service, which is well, out of commission for the near future. Anyway, I'm Lorenzo. Thanks for watching, tuning in again, and your patience in regard of the new videos that will be forthcoming, but not in as quick a pace as they did before. And with that, it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye.